Hello everyone and welcome back once again. I'm Madeline Thomas, Head of Content here at the World Textile Information Network and your host throughout Innovate Zero Carbon. If you missed this morning's sessions, they covered innovation strategy and international legislation when it comes to decarbonisation. Don't worry, they will be available in the next 24 hours on demand via the event website. So our next session comes from one of our event sponsors, Arise IIP. In this presentation, Bhavin Vyas, Chief Environmental, Social and Governance Officer, will present on the impact of nearshoring on supply chain emissions. He asks whether Africa could be one of the answers to reducing Scope 3 emissions in Europe's textile and apparel supply chain. As the group head of ESG at Arise, a Pan-African industrial ecosystem developer, Bhavin ensures that the company creates shared value for institutional investors, workers, supply chain companies and local communities, whilst protecting the environment and the ecosystem that it provides. His expertise covers environmental and social impact assessments, the preparation and implementation of stakeholder engagement plans, resettlement action plans, social investment, human rights impact, and social due diligence. Welcome, Bhavin. Thank you for joining us today. So as always, if you as the audience have any questions for Bhavin, then please submit them as you have been doing so far, and Bhavin will answer them at the end of this presentation. So Bhavin, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Okay, let me share my screen.
All right.
Yes, can you see my screen? Okay.
That's great. Thanks, Bhavin.
Okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining me for this session. Let me start with, cannot move this. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Okay, so let me start my presentation. I'll briefly provide a context about Arise IIP, how it is been structured. Then I'll talk more about our journey to transform the textile value chain. I'll provide a high-level overview about Benin as a country and the potential it has in terms of transformation journey. And then I'll talk more about how we are proposing a model that can reduce Scope 3 carbon, and will provide a few examples. So a brief introduction about Arise IIP. Arise IIP was founded 10 years ago with one country, one product in Gabon under the company called Gabon Special Economic Zone, where we have tried to transform wood industry into multiple product. And once that concept got proofing, we transported that concept into 10 countries in multiple commodities. And our core purpose is to transform the raw material of Africa within the country and export it directly to end market. We are operational in Gabon, Togo, and Benin, and we are at development stage in 6 other countries. So our shareholding pattern is the majority of shareholder of Arise is Africa Finance Corporation, multilateral developmental bank, supported 24% by ATIF, Africa Infrastructure Transformation Fund, again committed to invest into climate space and infrastructure space in Africa. So let me briefly talk about what are the value chain that we are transforming and what is the purpose of transforming. Our key purpose of historically, if you see the model, Africa used to export raw material and import jobs. And partly because raw material used to get exported in its raw form, and the processing and marketing used to happen outside the continent. Arise endeavor is to change that and transform the raw material within the country, create a job, create a direct economy within the country, create middle class, and ensuring that maximum economic value retains within the country. So we, as I said, we started with timber, then we moved into cashew, and textile is something which I'll talk in detail, which we are transforming in both Togo, which called PIA-SEZ, and Benin, which is called GDIZ-SEZ. And we are also working along with transformation of raw material. We are also trying to do import substitution and combining to all our SEZ are working to create local jobs and retaining more value within the continent. The key direct positive impact that we aspire to achieve is the direct and indirect job creation, revenue generation. Also, by doing this, saving a carbon footprint within the continent, and we'll talk more about it, and creating local value-added products. So if you see the textile industry, it contributes total 10% of climate impact globally. And within that, 62% sits in the fiber, especially into synthetics and polyester. And remaining 20% is into the production and the processing, and rest within the transport sector. And it is because of the complex supply chain. And I'll provide a more overview about how we are trying to break this complex supply chain and trying to create our own value chain and supply chain transformation within the continent, African continent itself. So if I break it down to the phases from raw material procurement to processing to dyeing, finishing, and production and distribution, first 4 phases in Arise model we try to do completely in-house within Benin and Togo as a country. And we do that by making sure that it's legal, it's traceable, it's supported by clean energy, it has a circularity embedded, it complies with the highest standard of cotton made in Africa, IFC performance standard. And by putting all these building blocks, we achieve a 25% reduction in total shipping value chain. And I'll talk more about how we try to reduce the carbon in the global shipping value chain. So what we have done, I think industrialization and sustainability doesn't go hand in hand, but in order to promote sustainable industrialization, we have Rise has developed this 4-pillar strategy. And those 4 pillars are divided into making sure that all our product, all our raw material, all our transport is low carbon. So we work systematically to decarbonize sourcing of raw material, storing of raw material in warehouses, processing raw material into built form by having a LEED compliant processing units, and transporting into a low carbon transportation instrument. In addition to that, one of the key important aspect of our ESG strategy is to promote circularity, converting waste into raw material and ensuring that we optimize and create maximum value out of the raw material.
Bhavin, could you just scroll down a little bit so we can see the bottom? Yeah. I'm just trying to read the bottom of the slide. Perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry, okay, carry on.
So in circularity, we are promoting wastewater management. We have our own zero liquid discharge. We are putting an ancillary industry for waste management, from e-waste to plastic waste to organic to paper waste, and we do for all the commodity complete carbon life cycle assessment. Third pillar of our ESG strategy is to promote diversity and inclusion, and especially in textile value chain and cotton value chain, ensuring the maximum participation of female employee in the value chain, and also ensuring the local skill building and the maximum local content to retain the maximum value within the country. One of the fourth but most important aspect is to create a responsible supply chain, ensuring that all our raw material is traceable, legal, and gone through proper highest certification process. And for cotton, we are experimenting with the new blockchain-enabled platform called FiberTrace, and for wood, we are going for FSC certification. So for each commodity and cashew, we are going with Rainforest Alliance. So for each commodity, we partner with the highest standards. We put the management system to ensure that entire value chain is protected. Yeah. So what are the advantage of Benin? I think Benin has a natural advantage when it comes to cotton value chain. It has a 700,000 metric ton of cotton available to transform within the country. It's globally ranked ninth, and that over a period of time, it is growing with 4.8% GDP for last decade, continuously improving their ease of doing business. Currently ranked 149 worldwide, but from African context, it's doing quite well and have a stable B plus rating by S&P. It has a long-term political stability and connecting to a port and through road to Nigeria, Togo, and Ghana. So I think Benin provides a natural value addition to a natural choice for transforming cotton along with Togo, and I won't speak more about Benin, which I've already captured in the last slide. But let me go back to the key point of the discussion today. So what we have done before selecting Benin, we did the complete carbon life cycle analysis. And historically, a raw cotton of Benin used to first go to Chittagong, Bangladesh, or India for processing, and from that Chittagong, it used to go to either US and Germany. We have taken two scenarios. We have calculated distance, and we have calculated a carbon per metric ton. And what we found is very, very positive results, that by sourcing in Benin, by processing in Benin, and directly exporting to Germany and US, we are saving close to 3.67 metric carbon in scenario of US, and we are saving 3.9 metric ton in the another scenario. These are the huge plus, and also traveling days and number of a kilometer that is reduced is significant. So by doing this, what we are achieving, if I can provide a calculation, a particular t-shirt which is been built based on the old model where raw material is from Benin, processing in Asia, and end market is in US and Europe, will require 4.9 kg of CO2 per t-shirt. And with the model which we are proposing, 1.9 kg CO2 per t-shirt, which is a straight away 60% of reduction in carbon. And I think this is something which we genuinely believe Africa has it's a beautiful locational advantage, huge internal population, especially working population between 18 to 45, which is 75% of the total working population, and internal consumer market. So as I said, that entire model has been developed based on three philosophy: how we can make our product traceable and legal, how we can achieve operational sustainability by putting a right management system, and how we ensure circularity is embedded within the system. For traceability, we are complying with Cotton Made in Africa. As I said, Fiber Trace is a unique blockchain model which we are going to pilot in next 2 months and see that whether it works, but it provides end-to-end traceability, and we will go with uh, all the label goods which are legal and traceable. For operational sustainability, I think, as I said, as a company, Arise, we comply with the highest standard of IFC performance standard 1 to 8, which ensures that we reduce and minimize our impact at source, at design, in processing our emissions. So we comply with IFC performance standard, and especially IFC performance standard 2, labor and working condition, which ensures that we comply with the highest standard. As I said, for each commodity, we do independent carbon life cycle analysis to understand the impact of transforming within the country and the carbon saving of each product as well as each value chain. And by doing that, one of the key component which we uh, uh, have introduced is that how we can make all our assets low carbon. So all the buildings within our textile will be LEED compliant, all the warehousing will be EDGE compliant, and that will reduce our O&M carbon, our O&M cost, and will retain the value of our asset. So currently we are going for 100% compliance on LEED for all our integrated textile park. In terms of ensuring social compliance, social issues and textile are very, very important. We are complying to highest human and labor rights standard. We do both our internal audit as well as audit done by brand and the compliance team. We ensure safe and working condition compliance, both through PS2 compliance as well as our internal audit, and based on the audit by brands. We ensure that there is a fair grievance process embedded into all our management system, and recruitment is been fair. What we are doing is historically Benin didn't had a trained workforce. So we have proactively set up 4 garment training center to upskill local labor force and providing them the skill that required to maximize the local content and the local value creation. And then currently we are exploring how we can take that journey forward, and from high skill employee, how we can create local entrepreneurs who wants to invest into local apparel business, especially in country. As I said that this diagram provides a complete overview that our entire value chain is a circular. We have a state-of-the-art um, zero liquid discharge facilities, uh, and a treatment plant. And as I said, we have a fully operational garment training program. Currently, 4,000 uh, young talented Beninese and Togolese people have been already trained. They've reached to a skill level which is acceptable by brand, and we have started producing products which are already being sold into US and European market. So it's a fully operational, and I'm very pleased to say that this model which we have created under GTC has been recognized by Reuters as a best case study of how to upskill and transform local training center. And as I said, that we have created an integrated a business model from spinning to weaving to knitting to processing and garmenting. That will be a part of our state-of-the-art special economic zone, which is 1,640 hectare. Within that, 37 hectare of warehouses, 12 hectare of a parking facility, and a huge textile integrated part within that. We have our own single window clearance. We have our own power, dedicated power, which is agreed on fixed price. And this is the 3D model. This is how our integrated textile unit looks like. This is how our warehousing and garment training center is looking like. So thank you very much. I hope I've not overshoot my time. I'm open for any question.
Thank you, Bhavin. That was really interesting. Congratulations on the writer's accolade as well. We do have some audience questions coming in. You gave the example of the cotton fibres and the carbon emission case study that you had done with the Benin facilities. Have you done any other, emission assessments with other types of fibres? Is the incentive there for other types of fibres, not just cotton?
No, I think current assessment is restricted to only cotton because
Okay.
yeah, but I'll get back to my carbon team and see if they've done other cotton life cycle analysis.
Great. Okay, no problem. And where would companies start, would you say, in readjusting their supply chains? Because obviously it's a huge financial investment to change your supply chain. So what advice would you give on to a brand, a manufacturer, for example, and that's looking to outsource to this new facility?
No, advice, I think we would welcome them to come because I think this is too transformational story. Our facilities are integrated. It's a plug-in model. So from sourcing raw material to access to internet, to access to electricity, to access to all the administrative single window clearance, to access to solid waste management system, entire ecosystem is available. So for brand, it's very easy to reduce their capex and come and plug in as a model, and we have already working with 2 big brands, and so far they're very, very happy with the outcome, the way we are approaching our business.
And how receptive do you feel that brands and retailers are being in terms of transitioning their supply chains over? Because obviously it's a huge risk if you've had supply chains in Asia, in China, for example, or Cambodia for decades, and then you're kind of uprooting everything and putting trust in a completely new area, completely new manufacturers, etc. What would you say to people in terms of mitigating that risk, and how receptive have people been to that adaptation, especially in such financially challenging times?
No, I think we are competitive with pricing. Secondly, I think it's also brand are equally under a lot of pressure to make the right choices, especially in climate space. So I think it's a high time where the previous model, which was high carbon with a complex supply chain, and this model provides an alternative to solve that problem, which was like, I think it has reached to its shelf life, that you use the raw material of Africa, which is reasonably competitive and cheap, and use the labor of Asia, and then serve the consumer. I think this model has a huge complex supply chain issue. By investing in Benin and Togo, you solve that, you promote low carbon, and it will take its own time. But I think so far we have achieved a very good quality product, which is approved by top brands. We have achieved all the certification that is required by all the top brand compliance certification, and the results of positive impact is already been measured. So I think I don't see any risk moving from existing supply chain. But I think it will create a win-win scenario for a brand as well as us.
Okay, brilliant. We are running out of time. I just have one last check for any other audience questions. I think no, we're all good. Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Bhavin. If anyone does have any other questions, then do please feel free to still submit them, and we'll pass them over to Bhavin to answer. So thank you again, Bhavin. Thank you very much to our audience. We'll break there for lunch, and we'll return at 2 p.m. UTC, where we have an exciting panel session on how transition in materials can support decarbonisation. Look forward to bringing that to you then. Thank you.